Hey everybody, this is Aaron from Mesa Garden. I'm in my Lithops house, and you can see all the Lithops flowers going crazy. Yep, it's amazing time to be here. It always starts in October, and they just go until the end of October, into November. So pretty cool. Then I was looking at my Dinteranthus pole-evansii, and this is such a cool plant. See all the divots in the leaf, and they're basically just white balls of, like golf balls, you know. In fact, Steve Brack, in his description of this plant, he put veritable vegetable golf ball, and I like that. I think that's pretty good. It's a really good description, you know, because back when he was selling stuff, he would have to put a description because, you know, he didn't have pictures, and now we have like all kinds of pictures. There's lots of great Dinteranthus. This is a Dinteranthus as well. Wilmontianus. The dark spots. They call these beestkloikjes in South Africa, which means goat hoof or like sheep hoof or something. So pretty fun. Anyway, I was looking at these plants, and that one, I don't know if you can see it. This guy here is getting a little far from his roots. You can see the stem is way out there, and it's, you know, it's not doing so great. So I'll probably end up taking these off and rooting these heads just so I can keep it going. They get to a point where they just get too far from the roots and then they just die, you know. So that's probably what I'll end up doing with those. But also, you know, when they get to this point too, it's like, yeah, it's time to sow some seeds and maybe start, you know, getting some things going again. So I will show you what I did to sow seeds. So before I show you how I sowed these seeds and the results I got, I want to show you the seeds because they're incredibly small, and it makes you wonder, like, how do I sow this stuff? Like, you know, you get a little seed packet from us, and you're probably like, what in the world did they send me? It's like they sent me some dirt in a packet. Well, no, that's seeds. I'll show you what they look like. For some scale, put down a pencil, and then I'll take some seeds out of this packet. Look at how small those things are. They got kind of clumpy. It's the time of year for them to kind of get clumped up. But you can see each grain of seed there is just, they're so tiny. So I'm going to show you how I sow. Okay, this is what I did to sow this seed. I put some soil in this pot here. You can see the soil's almost up to that rim there. I put in the label. I just got a little wood block here. I'm just gonna tap this down and make it more even. Then I'm gonna add some vermiculite. And this is tall vermiculite. I mean small vermiculite. And basically, I'm just gonna sift this small vermiculite. I'm going to sift a small layer on top. So it's basically like the dust of the vermiculite. So I'll show you what that looks like. Just like gold in there. You can see it a little better, but you can see it's just a thin layer of vermiculite. And I put my label in first because, like, I noticed that, you know, if you sow your seeds and you put your label in it, like, all the soil, like, goes down that way and it wrecks stuff. So now I'm just going to go ahead and put the seeds in there. I mean, you're not even going to see the seeds go in the pot, but I'm just going to... I usually like to go down the middle and go down another side and then the other side, but it just flowed out of there real quick, so I don't have any more seeds in that packet. That's okay. As they grow and get bigger, you just take clumps of plants and pot those up, and then they have room to grow and, you know, do their thing. We used to just take each plant out individually and then pot them up, but then I found that you kind of lose more that way, so it's better to just pot up clumps of plants and you'll do a lot better. And we had some rain, fresh rain, fall the other day, so I've got another pot over here soaking, and I'm going to put this one in here, and they'll soak up the rainwater. And then I'll put that in a baggie and put it in the greenhouse. Alright, so basically I set it in this little ice cream container. It worked fine. It just, you know, just to hold in the moisture. But look at this. And there's still water in there. Look at all those plants. There's probably thousands of plants, or maybe a couple thousand, I don't know. So pretty amazing results. I mean, I've never had this good of results just sowing directly into just soil, so I really like it. So the nighttime temps around here are getting into like the low 50s and 40s at night, and that's a really good time to sow conos and lithops. Lithops you could sow even earlier in the fall. Probably September would be better than October. They seem to do well like that. But if you have a heat mat and lights, well, you can control all that stuff. So that's the way to do it.
Thank you for watching our video today. Please like and subscribe, and please hit that bell for all future notifications on future videos. You can find all of our current listing of seeds and plants at www.mesagarden.com. We also have our social media listings in the description below for Facebook and Instagram.